As Elmer Davis once said, "This nation will remain the land of the free only so long as it is the home of the brave." This is true in many ways, but it is most important to me because my hero is one of the brave that fought for my freedom. My hero brought home a Purple Heart for his bravery, but he also brought home something far worse than that: PTSD. My dad and his platoon were headed back to base after their security detail for the day was done. There was a hiccup in the road. Their Humvee that they were traveling in was struck by an RPG on May 28, 2003, a week before my first birthday. None of them suffered serious injuries, considering that no one died. My dad suffered from shrapnel embedded all throughout his right side, a busted eardrum, and something far worse than his superficial injuries: PTSD. PTSD is something that has made every day for the last 16 years of his life a struggle. Not many people know that my dad is a war veteran, this being because he's not in my everyday life. My parents got a divorce when I was 2.5 years old. I've lived with my mom ever since. I see my dad 2 weeks out of the year for the most part, but even when I do get to visit him, I see the little things. When most people hear a door slam, they do a slight little jump. My dad turns 360 degrees to find the source and whether or not if it's a life threat. Or the way he has to take sleeping pills to sleep throughout the night, or else he's waking up every hour, on the hour, until 0500 to make sure that he can start his day. Or how he's in emotional and physical pain all the time. My dad still has shrapnel in his right side from 16 years ago. 16 years. He also has to see a therapist every week to talk about his weekly tribulations and how he's coped with them. My dad may not be in my everyday life, but he has a strong impact on my life. Like most father-daughter relationships, my dad and I argue, like everybody. But even though we argue, we are still a close relationship, and he is the reason I am as strong as I am today. He's the reason I respect people today. My dad may not be perfect, but he is trying his best. And he is the reason I respect every person that puts on an armed forces uniform. They don't come back the same after they go to combat. He's the reason that I'm as strong as I am today. My dad, even without being in my everyday life, is my hero.